Hi, welcome to my channel. So today's topic is dating. How do you feel about teachers dating other teachers, or just for that matter, staff dating other staff members? I will tell you a story. Many years ago, I started dating the director of maintenance at a district. And we briefly dated. And while we were dating, I was in a portable, and the air conditioner was not working, so it was hot in that portable. And I remember telling, at the time, my boyfriend that, hey, my portable's been hot lately, and I wish they would come and fix it. I've already told maintenance, to put in a work order. I don't think they've done it yet. And the next day, two men from maintenance showed up to my portable and started fixing the air conditioner. And the head custodian at my campus and the principal wanted to know who sent them because the work order had not been submitted. And when they came and confronted me, I acted dumb. I acted like I did not know what was going on. I started making up stories. I started saying that I went ahead and I was calling around trying to figure out what do I need to do to get this air conditioner fixed. I even asked if I could bring in my own air conditioner. And then I said, well, maybe because I was inquiring that maybe they went ahead and sent them, and yeah, I was embarrassed because I was like, I did not want nobody to know that I was dating the director of maintenance. And let's just say that, maintenance put two and two together, and they figured out that, hey, yeah, there's no work order. How come we're here if there's no work order? So they kind of put two and two together. Unfortunately, it was beginning, there was a rumor, again, that, I guess people were trying to confirm that I was dating the director of maintenance. And, that rumor was beginning to spread, real fast on my campus. And I was like trying to put out the fires, like, no, I don't know who you're talking about. Who's the director? What's his name? What, I made sure that we were not seen together at all. I was very paranoid. Every time we went out, in public, I'd be like looking, making sure, that there's nobody that I knew that was there, wherever we were at. And I think I was kind of paranoid because, again, I did not want anyone to know my business, because it just seems like people will focus more on you, and people all of a sudden become interested in your life, and not really for good reasons, but more, I guess, for other reasons, not really good reasons, but for other reasons. And this is where rumors start flying. And it was nobody's business, except for mine and for the director of maintenance. And the director of maintenance didn't really care and could not understand why I wanted to keep our relationship, under wraps. But I think it's because from previous, not really experiences, but just working at different districts and different campuses where you have people that did date, and their relationship, whether it worked out or not, everybody knew their business. And when it didn't work out, rumors were flying around, and sometimes the breakups were really bad. And I kind of like did not want that in case if it didn't, which it didn't work out, between me and the director of maintenance. But I've heard of horror stories. There was this one aide that I heard like a story about her last year. She was dating a teacher, and I guess this happened like 2 years ago, but I'm new to the campus, and then I start hearing all these rumors, about her. Then I kind of confronted her about it, like, hey, I've been hearing stuff about you, and, I just wanted to let you know that there's rumors flying around. But anyways, the story was is that there was an aide who was married to one of the teachers. Come to find out, her husband, the teacher, was having an affair with another teacher, and this poor girl, the para, she went to go surprise, her husband for lunch. She went to go buy him lunch and she was going to go drop it off. And she caught him making out with another teacher in the parking lot. So they ended up getting a divorce. And it turned out to be a very messy divorce, and there was kids involved. And so that was one thing. And then he went ahead and started spreading rumors about her, through social media, and other people started chiming in. And these were also people that didn't know, the paraprofessional, the para didn't really know what was going on behind closed doors, but were giving a lot of input, and they were agreeing, with the ex-husband, and they were kind of like taking his side. So that's like one horror story. There are times where I've seen couples that were dating and that they put their relationship out there, out in public for everybody to know. So that way other people would not hit on, one or the other, hit up, on them or ask them out. So they wanted to make sure that they were in a relationship. There was a director of a department dating an assistant principal, and that director spent an enormous amount of time at our campus, and it just seemed like the director was making up anything just to be on our campus, I guess, to keep an eye on on the assistant principal. And this director, did not really care much about the kids, or did not, wasn't really there to handle business. It was more like there to chit chat, with the assistant principal, always in the assistant principal's office, having lunch with the assistant principal, would leave, and then all of a sudden, in meetings, with the assistant principal and the principal, come back, and then, there to pick up the assistant principal to go home. It was very noticeable. And I felt that, why is this director always on our campus when, the assistant principal, the director had other campuses to worry about, but constantly at our campus. And this director had, their own office in a separate building and wanted to move their office and their people onto our campus. And it's like, why? To be closer to the assistant principal? So they ended up getting married within a year. They got married and already, had a baby, good for them. But again, I think, as an employee, I was, very curious, and I was more focused on them. And every time I saw them, I'd be like, what, the director's here again, and, I was beginning to focus on that. And then after a while, I just it didn't sit well with me, because especially if you're in high positions like that, I personally feel that you should keep your relationship under wraps. It's nobody's business what you guys are doing. It's nobody's business if you're dating or not, or married or not. I think it should be kept under wraps, and I think you're there to work and not really spend a lot of time together, especially if you're married. You live together, you go home together, and you spend time together at home. So I don't understand why they need to be spending a lot of time together at work. I think you should just go to work, do your job, and then leave. But when you're going out of your way to spend as much time to be with your significant other during working hours, that's where I'm kind of like, I don't think you should do that. Can you imagine if teachers were dating other teachers and the teachers, were inviting each other to their classrooms and they hang out? I know that some do that, but can you imagine like constantly, like all day? And I can understand, like, oh, you guys hang out for breakfast. Okay, you hang out for, lunch, you have lunch together. But there are some couples that literally will go out of their way to make sure that they are always together, like rearranging their lunches so that way they're together. You, you know, having their conferences together, and then they're always together. I think it's just too much. And they're at the same campus too. But I think there needs to be some kind of separation. But again, to each their own. But I just find that if you're in a higher position, I think that should be a little bit more discreet. That's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure others, y'all have, your own opinions or maybe even stories. But again, the reason why I did not want anybody to know that I was dating the director of maintenance was because I did not want anybody to single me out for the wrong reasons. I did not want anyone talking about me, which they pretty quickly started talking about me and about the director of maintenance. And again, they were trying to put two and two together, and some of them did figure it out. And I was confronted about it from other teachers. And again, I denied everything. And I'm glad I did because, again, it didn't work out. And nobody needed to know my business. So I don't know. What do y'all think? So let me know your thoughts about dating. Either, staff dating staff or teachers dating teachers or, upper management dating upper management and being on the same campus. Okay, let me know. Thank you. Bye.